What is up, guys? What is up? So, I'm sure most of you have already heard about the crazy shit that is going on in Minnesota. If you know, then you know. If you don't know, I'll tell you. Well, you got some fraud. Probably the biggest government fraud scandal in the history of America. This is insane. Okay? You have the Somali community that has all these government daycares and government paid health companies, and they're all accused of fraud, and there's substantial evidence for it, obviously. And thank God that there's hope in this world. There is one man that we can have faith in this godforsaken world, and that is Nick Shirley. Now, Nick Shirley is a YouTuber that has been doing what CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News journalists should be doing. He's getting a camera, he's got his microphone, and he is going to the action. He is showing up with his face on, head on, exposing all this corruption. So Nick Shirley goes to Minnesota. He teams up with a private investigator that's been studying this fraud for years and years and years. And Nick Shirley goes door to door in Minnesota to all these different daycares and all these different health companies. And he shows up, and the windows are blacked out on all of them. There's no kids to be seen. The doors are locked. Sometimes when they answer, he says, "Oh, I'd like to sign my kid up for daycare." And they say, "Why? You can't do that." And they shut the door on him, basically. I highly suggest watching this video. It is insane. It's going mega viral. It's called "I Investigated Minnesota's $1 billion fraud scandal." And it's already got 2.2 million views, and it came out on the 26th of December. And I watched it last night. I was a little late to it. By the way, Happy New Year and Happy Late Christmas. I've been doing Christmas stuff, so I haven't been able to do a video. But, I mean, people are going to start watching this after Christmas, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And it's so big that even CNN and MSNBC are doing damage control to try and cover it up. But, yeah, I mean, some of the... Let's see if I can look for some of the crazy moments. Let's see here. Hold on. The one that blew me away was he goes into this office building where there's these healthcare companies. Here, just listen to him explain it. Let's see. Let me just
if you're a gun owner searching for the perfect
let me just pull it up here one sec.
This holiday, then you're going to want to get this right here.
On top of all of the childcare centers, that's just only a small piece of the fraud. What other fraud are they committing here in Minnesota?
So another major piece of the fraud is the home health care industry. Where we're going now is a building that has 14 Somali-owned home health care companies in the same building.
14 of the same healthcare companies in one building.
14 home health care companies with different names in the same building.
How bad has Tim Walz managed the budget here inside of Minnesota?
So the last biennium, we had an $18 billion surplus. This biennium, we have a $6 billion deficit. That's a $24 billion swing in one biennium. How in the world can you burn through $24 billion in 2 years? This is how, right here. This is a huge part of it.
And so would you say a lot of that is fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Absolutely. I would say better than 90% of it is absolute outright fraud.
And a large percentage of this fraud is from these healthcare companies that are charging the state millions of dollars while they actually aren't providing anything. In fact, the FBI just did a raid a few days ago on a building similar to the one we are about to enter. Inside of this building, there were 14 of nearly the exact same businesses offering the exact same services.
Right here, you have a list of all of the healthcare companies. Loads of them right here. We want healthcare.
No, it's okay.
Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here.
No.
Why can't I get healthcare here?
No, wait.
Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security armed.
Yeah, so, and he goes into this building. He even admits that this is the weirdest place he's ever been to. And okay, I know there's no liberals watching this, but think about it for a second. Think about this for a second. You're a delivery driver delivering a pizza. You get an order to an office building, suite number whatever, suite 10. You go to this office building. There is nobody inside. All the doors are locked. And every single business offers the same thing. Multiple healthcare companies. Now, it makes sense. Like, you go to like a doctor's office and you got like a dentist office in one room, and then you got maybe a chiropractor in another, and then you got a healthcare company in another. So you have variety when you go to like a medical plaza. But the same single company in every single building, even if there wasn't fraud, that is mismanagement right there. That is messed up. And that is just so blatantly obvious and fishy. And if I lived in Minnesota and my tax dollars got pulled out to fund all these weird shell-like companies, and then there's this huge deficit in our state, I'd be pissed off. I'm pissed off just even thinking about nobody's being held accountable for this. It is just so blatantly obvious and strange, and it's really creepy. It's very creepy that you have an office building of all the same companies that don't offer anything, and then they won't even give Nick Shirley a rate. Maybe they're suspicious because obviously Nick Shirley's famous, and they probably know that Nick Shirley's there to expose them. But let me ask you this. Do you think if I went in there, I'm not famous at all. Nobody knows who I am. If I went in there and I said, hey, can I get a rate? Do you think they would allow me? Probably not. Now, if I was a Somalian going in there, I guarantee you I'd be in, and they'd probably say, sign up for our healthcare. We're not going to offer you anything, but you get a big kickback from the government if you sign up with our healthcare or if you sign up with our daycare. And that is what the fraud really is. This is what the fraud is. It's these daycares and it's these healthcare companies ran by Somalians. Okay. And if it was white people, I'd be criticizing the same thing, but they're run. And then all the hardworking people in Minnesota get a good chunk of taxes taken out of their paycheck or taken out when they go to the grocery store to buy something. And it is put into these daycare centers and into these companies that don't offer anything. So they're getting millions of dollars, whoever the Somalians are that run them. And then the Somalians that are using the services are getting a kickback. And then that money that they pocket is also getting sent to Somalia, the country, to terrorist organizations. It's so blatantly obvious. And if you're a liberal defending this, you're just so retarded at this point. There's nothing else I can say about it. And that's what they are doing. The liberals, instead of just admitting that this is messed up, they're saying, well, Republicans are taking advantage of this because they want to demonize the Somalians because Republicans only like white people and Republicans are racist and blah, blah, blah. And the other argument I keep hearing is, Trump screwed up the Epstein files and Trump screwed up Israel, so now they're just doing this as damage control. Why don't we just take a step back for a second and just say, I don't care about any of those political implications. Can we just look at this at face value and realize that this is absolutely disgusting and this needs to stop? Can we stop playing the political games on who's taking political points here or who's losing points there? Can we just take a step back and just admit that face value, this is pretty messed up? Republican or Democrat, and the Democrats are trying to say, well, this is if there's fraud, we'll investigate it, but Republicans are just making this a Democrat thing. I'm sorry, Democrats, but you run Minnesota. Tim Walz, Mr. Coach. I'm a coach. I'm a high school coach, and I coached my team, and because I'm a good coach, I should be vice president. That guy, you got to defend that guy? That guy should be in jail. Now let's listen to. Let's listen to just a couple small clips of the mainstream media. Let's listen to what CNN has to say about this, because the liberal mainstream media, they are coping hard. And let's just listen to this disgusting take.
The other part of this is an attempt to make this about Somalis in general as opposed to just about the people who are responsible. It's not really about the fraud.
This is absolutely an attack on the Somali community and on immigrants writ large. The vast majority of the Somali residents of Minnesota are citizens. They're not new immigrants. So this is just a further example of the Trump White House doing everything they can to vilify immigrants.
These people make my blood boil. That is not what this is about at all. This is not about demonizing immigrants. This is not about just going after Somalians because they're Somalians. It has nothing to do with that, okay? We just care about what's right or wrong. That's it. We don't give a shit what skin color they are. I think that what the Somali community is doing is wrong. Therefore, they need to be held accountable. Just like I think the white community in Portland, which I did a video about Portland and Seattle last time, the white people, I called them out too. I'm not calling them out because they're white. No, I'm calling them out because what they're doing is wrong, just like what the Somalians are doing is wrong. And I think that that was the liberal master plan, to give minority groups like this invincible shield that they can use as defense, so they can do anything illegal that they want to do. They could do anything they want to do that's messed up and get away with it and just say, you can't attack us because you're demonizing my race, or you're a white supremacist. That is the ultimate defense to this, because they have psyoped a whole country to think everything is about race, to teach everybody about race in school. They have psyoped everybody to be in this mindset that you can't criticize anybody that's non-white or else you're a racist. Therefore, we should just sit back and let them do whatever the hell they want. And you're seeing how they're responding to the fraud. Any normal journalist that works for CNN, MSNBC, or Fox News, or any of them, any real journalist would be right there next to Nick Shirley asking the questions. They'd be asking the questions. I mean, back in the 60s, you had journalists going to Vietnam, dodging bullets, asking questions. Why can't they do that now with the Somalian fraud? Seriously. It's insane. And then coach himself, Tim Balls, Tim frickin' Horse Seaman. Let's hear what he has to say. This is an Asman Gold snippet, so I'm just shout out to Asman Gold. He does great videos. I don't agree with everything he says, but he is like my top YouTuber right now, so make sure you subscribe to Asman Gold. But let's look at what Tim Walz responded, and then Nick Shirley responds to Tim Walz.
Okay, here we go. You guys ready to listen to this?
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
No longer hide the idea of white supremacy. This guy should be in jail. Tim Walz, I mean, you need to go to jail, Tim. Like, instead of just coming out and saying, like, oh, this is horrible for the taxpayers of Minnesota, we're going to get to the bottom of this, and we're going to raid all the illegal businesses, and we're going to get rid of all the fraud and pay back the taxpayers. No. It's about protecting the minorities and attacking white people. That's all it's about. Tim Walz looks in the mirror every single day and hates his skin color. Tim Walz hates himself. He has more white guilt than any person on this planet. And I guarantee you that when Tim Walz was sitting there in his governor's chair in his office, a bunch of Somalians probably walked in there and said, hey, Tim, we're going to do this and you're going to let us. Tim's like, okay, I was a great coach, so I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm a coach, yeah. I'm going to run for vice president, yeah. Unbelievable. Let's listen to Nick Shirley's response here. I love Nick Shirley, by the way. I don't know if I said it multiple times, but please subscribe to Nick Shirley.
You and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over inside of these towns.
There's wait, what?
Entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over.
Of course.
Inside of these towns like Minneapolis,
yeah, sure,
where they can go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you, because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen, and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset, and I totally understand why they're upset.
Yeah, I bet they
They don't
are.
have a governor who's actually...
You think he can dodge this by throwing away buzzword?
Yeah, so there you have it. God bless Nick Shirley, man. And in the video that I told you guys to watch where he investigated everything, he also is asking for donations because he needs security to continue doing these dangerous tasks. I mean, there's been other videos I've watched where he's been harassed, been in dangerous situations, and obviously you know what happened to Charlie Kirk. And I think that Nick Shirley is just as damning to the left as Charlie Kirk was, if not even more. So I pray for this guy's life. I really do. This guy should keep an eye out. I would not want to be Nick Shirley. I do not envy Nick Shirley's life at all. He is living a dangerous life. So shout out to Nick Shirley if I haven't said that 1,000 times. But Donald frickin' Trump, come on, dude. You got to arrest Tim Walz, and you got to arrest all these people responsible. This is treason. This is fraud. This is evil. This is disgusting. You're dividing white people against black people. You're protecting fraud. You're stealing money from white people. You're pushing white people out of their homes, and you're giving it to Somalians, and then you're allowing them to use that money to commit fraud and send it overseas to terrorist groups. And the evidence is right there. Donald Trump, you are dropping the ball if you don't arrest Tim Walz. You don't think that Tim Walz, if he had the power, could arrest you, Trump? He would. Tim Walz would probably kill you, Donald, if he had the chance. So you need to arrest him. I mean, I think it's disgusting that Donald Trump hasn't arrested him. And why hasn't Donald Trump arrested Bill Clinton either? Or all these other sickos. That's what really gets me mad about Trump. It's like, come on, dude. These people allegedly tried to kill you, if you don't believe that that guy was the one that assassinated Trump. And these people tried to put you in jail over nothing. And you're just going to sit back and let this shit happen? If I was president of the United States, I'd be sending the FBI arresting all these people. And I'd be filming it so these Democrat libtards can watch it happen. And then I'd be filming them so I could watch them cry. Because this needs to stop. And it's not just in Minnesota. I guarantee you, all the fraud in California is through the roofs, probably even worse. First of all, you got businesses, all the car companies pulling out of California. Tesla pulling out of California. Major companies pulling out of California. I think Schwab pulled out of California. Because California is too expensive, their taxes are too high, their cost of living is too high, everything's just way more expensive in California, their gas is more expensive. You don't think that California's high taxes is high because they take the money out of the people's pocket and put it to more fraudulent programs like the people in Minnesota did? And then these people on CNN have the nerve to say we need to tax billionaires more because that's the whole purpose of the government is to redistribute wealth. Screw the government. If I was a billionaire, why would I want to give a cent to the government knowing they're just going to waste it on fraud? If I was a billionaire, I'd be more productive in society building things. Elon Musk, as a billionaire, has done more for society with his cars and his rocket ships and all, and having free speech on X. He's done more for society than any president or any government has ever done. Screw the government. They're just going to piss your money away. So Donald Trump, for the love of God, for what's right and just, hold these people accountable. Jesus Christ. Unless, Donald, like a conspiracy theory, maybe you're just not doing anything because you just want it to happen and the left are just going to come back into power and it's just going to get worse. I don't know. These are some dark times, people. But yeah, that's my Somalian Minnesota rant. And again, it's not because I hate black people. It's not because I hate Democrats. It's because I care about what's right or wrong. If you break the law, no matter what skin color you are, you need to be held accountable. And if you're a politician allowing this, you should have handcuffs on your hand. You should be put in a police car, and you should put in a jail. Not just a jail for the rich people like Jordan Belfort got in Wolf of Wall Street. No, a real jail. A jail with the real people. Imagine Tim Walz in jail next to a murderer. That would be real justice. I mean, we're talking about treason, people. We're talking about treason. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that up. I hope you guys have a great New Year's. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. And I'll catch you guys in 2026. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Townsley R. signing off. Bye-bye.